Greetings everyone, and welcome back to another random mini review, a series in which I take a look at various products that I don't have to go too in depth with in a time limit of under 10 minutes. And today's one is actually something that I never knew existed. Also, just a very quick warning about this video, even though it's just showing off an accessory and basically a case, I do ramble quite a lot within this video, so if this is not for you, it's probably best that you skip this one. Otherwise, if you want to stick around, that'd be great. While browsing the wonders of Facebook Marketplace, I came across this weird accessory for a Samsung Galaxy S7, and for only 20 bucks, I jumped on the opportunity and went and picked it up. This accessory comes in two pieces. The guy only gave me the first piece when I first went and picked it up, then I had to go back to him to pick the other piece up. So thanks for that, random Facebook Marketplace user. The Samsung Galaxy S7 was released back in 2016, and Blackberry was still on the market with keyboards on their devices. Samsung only had a few lower end devices with physical keyboards on them. None of their actual flagships had a physical keyboard built into them, so that's why this accessory exists. Now, during my brief research that I did for this accessory, it was released for the S6 Edge Plus, the S7, and the S8 as far as I know. There may have been some other ones, but information's a little bit lacking when it comes to these. Now, it's no surprise that I love phones with physical keyboards on them, and it is refreshing to see newer devices pop up on the market with physical keyboards. But what if you had a flagship back in 2016 and you said to yourself, I don't like having the stock keyboard on this. I want to improve the user experience. Well, that's where we step into this. We have a very S2 looking sort of back cover. That's what it reminds me of anyways. We've got the Samsung logo just embossed into there, and it is a nice rubbery sort of grippy coating that's on this. It only just extends to the corners as well as the bottom portion of the phone, and then flipping it over, and we have a circle there which could be some of the guts, but I'm more inclined to believe it's this little piece right here, which if I pull the back off, it would seem that this portion would sit directly over the wireless charging and NFC. And also looking at the bottom, sorry for the dust from the previous owner, we have Samsung Galaxy S7 printed in there, keyboard cover, model EJ-CG930, and that's about it. So you would stick your Samsung in the case. That's it. You've now got a case which doesn't extend past the display, but there's a reason for that because of the main accessory. Let's see where the magic happens. This is the keyboard accessory for the S7, and it is a full physical keyboard. Each has their own clicky little button. The menu and back button are their own buttons, but the home button is actually a pass-through directly to the actual home button itself. Looking close up, you can see bits of the circuitry just underneath the tape. As far as I can tell, you cannot buy this anymore. I've looked on eBay and various other sites, and it's all been discontinued, so I was very lucky to actually find this. Apart from the Samsung branding, there's nothing really much else to say about this. What happens if you just now snap this bad boy on? You'll find that your screen size has shrunk down 30% and is now looking a little something like this. So if I press the menu button to open recents, that comes up, and then I press back, that all works, and then if I scroll up, I can start to type on this. So I can put, hello, this is tested. Okay, I'm not really good with physical keyboards on phones. I've gotten so used to virtual ones. But if you were someone who wanted to have a Blackberry, but didn't want to buy a Blackberry, but instead would rather have the more mainstream flagships from Samsung, you could just stick this thing on and problem solved. There is no touchpad functionality or anything like that. It is just a keyboard and that's all it is. The design of the keys are very similar to Blackberry's ones in that they sort of slant downwards, but the functions around the keyboard, like holding Alt down to access the other buttons, the buttons aren't too bad. I'm going to say the Unihertz Titan that I took a look at recently is a much better experience typing for a more newer device, but just keep in mind that this is a flagship phone that you could just stick this accessory on there. It's just very bizarre, but I really like it. And honestly, I wish that a lot more manufacturers would consider just this option. As far as I could tell, this case was selling for about $80 at one point, which is a bit expensive. For folks out there who do miss a physical keyboard, they would be able to just slap the back case on and then take that off. This then sits on the back, and then you can use the phone as normal, go onto social media, do what you need to do and stuff, and then when you get back to typing, go, okay, no worries, let me just get my keyboard out. Back there, it clicks into place, and now you can go ahead and start typing on social media. Hey, I'm just can't type with this. It does also feel a little bit cramped, but I'm sure you would get used to this in due time. It's definitely nothing like the Blackberry Passport keyboard or the Unihertz Titan keyboard. You have more space to hold this and type out, whereas this is just your normal S7 that's now cramped down and you can use the keys. It even comes up with a little setting to adjust what happens. Not that there's much to actually change in this, but you have some small options you can configure. The fact that even without the keyboard on the screen, you've still got full access to everything. This isn't much of a problem having the keyboard portion on the back. It only adds a tiny little bit of an extra bump to the back. But honestly, with that slight bump, it makes the phone a little bit more easier to manage because naturally your hand is sort of holding it like this. So I don't know, it kind of gives you a bit of a balance. The case is the main guts, and then this also gets sensed via the phone and puts it into keyboard mode. So when I first picked this up, I only got this portion of it. And if you were to just put this portion on the phone, nothing happens because there's nothing to tell the phone, hey, what am I supposed to do? And you'll find actually putting this on reacts with some of the buttons, which I guess is how part of this contraption actually works. And I'll agree, this thing is not for everybody. A lot of people just will not like physical keyboards on their devices. But knowing that this 6-year-old phone had an accessory that I never knew existed, just pop out of the blue on Facebook, and now I have it for this, kind of makes the S7 have a new lease of life. There's also this problem too. Usually helps if the back cover is glued down and there's not cracks on the display. Otherwise it would work perfectly fine. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. And then do all the other... I accidentally wrote PP, I didn't mean it, sorry. At plus, minus, brackets, all that sort of thing. Emoticons, not a bad experience, honestly. So if you are still rocking an S7, S6 Edge Plus, or an S8, consider trying to find yourself one of these if you're a physical keyboard enthusiast. Beansy, who is a good friend of mine, I'll link his channel up here if you want to take a look at that. He does a lot of phone repairs and all that sort of thing, but he is a big enthusiast with physical keyboards, and when I showed him this, he was like, I want one. If you can find one, man, good luck to you, because I have a feeling you will not be able to find another one of these elsewhere, so just keep an eye out on local listings and stuff, because one just might pop up like in my instance. Let's investigate the keyboard. Peeling the sticker back off the keyboard, you can see the PCB which has a bunch of contacts on it. I would say what's happening for this to work is the case has the built-in guts that work with the NFC telling the phone to listen out for the keyboard. Then Samsung phones have TSP hovering, which if you just hover your finger over the screen, it will actually recognize any movements. So with this hovering just above the screen and you pressing each key, it's actually recognizing it through these little contacts, telling the phone, hey, you've just pressed over here, you've just pressed this, you've just pressed that. I would say that's how it works just from looking at this, but I could be wrong there. Unfortunately, I won't be able to take this back cover off because it's a thin piece of foam, so just ripping at one corner would basically just rip it off in pieces, and I don't really want to do that. I just wanted to demonstrate this really strange, obscure keyboard case for the S7. So if you've used one of these in the past, feel free to let me know down in the comments below. Also, just tell me what you thought of this little accessory. Do you think this should be an optional accessory for modern mobile phones? Like imagine the S22 Ultra with a keyboard on it. It may look a little silly, but that functionality could be good for people who miss physical keyboards and want a flagship device at the same time. So let me know your feelings on that. It's much like some of the PDAs in the 90s and 2000s that had the optional little keyboard you could attach to it. It's been done before, but I just haven't seen it so modernized. Well, when I say modernized, I mean 6 years ago. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching this really rambly, chill video. I hope you enjoyed this one. And as always, please take care, stay safe, be good people, and I'll see you all in the next video, which will be something at this point in time. I will certainly figure it out. But until then, please take care, and I'll see you next time. If you like this content, feel free to leave a like or a dislike if you didn't. Thanks heaps for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.